Have you ever seen such a cute yet mischievous kitten? He sneaked in while the mother duck wasn't home. The bold little guy went straight into the duck's house. And surprisingly, he wanted to pick a fight with the ducklings. The kitten had already struck a fighting pose. He even stood up on his hind legs. One of the ducklings was so scared by the kitten's moves that it fell to the ground and didn't dare to move. The other ducklings hadn't yet realized what the kitten was up to. They were still following behind the kitten. Seeing their buddy lying on the ground, the other ducklings came over to comfort it. Meanwhile, the kitten seemed to have discovered something new. It was a large transparent bowl, but the bowl was completely empty. The kitten jumped right into it. Honestly, he'd never seen such a transparent and cute bowl before. It wasn't just the ducklings. Even the kitten became interested in the bowl. The kitten sprawled out in the bowl, and his little paws were playfully dancing on the edge. He hadn't given up on his idea of picking a fight with the ducklings. Even while inside this transparent bowl, he stayed alert. The ducklings were watching the kitten's sharp little claws, too scared to make a move. But they were also intrigued by the big bowl. They even thought about jumping into the bowl themselves. But they didn't expect the kitten to have taken up the whole space inside the bowl. And the kitten's paws were still moving around. If those sharp little claws scratched them, it would hurt so much. The ducklings stood by, both curious and about wary of the kitten. Usually, they only played with each other. Never with such a cute but feisty kitten. But the kitten's actions were a bit too rough. The ducklings cautiously watched. Their wings fluttered nervously as they saw the kitten finally calm down. Then, they dared to jump into the glass bowl. One of the ducklings even fell asleep on the kitten. Watching the kitten sleepily nudging the duckling as if it were a pillow, the other two ducklings stayed by the bowl's edge. What a peaceful and funny scene. The kitten is cuddling with the little duck that's sleeping on its four legs facing the sky. And the two little ducks on the outside are watching, drooling from excitement. Finally, in such a fun place, they too want to give it a try. You can see one little duck is already itching to poke its head in. Yeah, these two little ducks are definitely getting tired, but they still couldn't resist the temptation. One by one, they hopped into the big pile. They leaned against each other to sleep, especially snuggling close to the kitten's warm body. The soft and cozy pile gave them so much comfort. And soon after, the kitten fell asleep as well. Unexpectedly, the little duck got up and waddled to the edge, because the space in the big pile was just too small. But even so, half asleep and groggy, it still didn't forget that after the little duck wandered out of the big pile, it bumped into another duck. The kitten was gently poking the little duck sleeping in its arms. Meanwhile, the other little ducks crawled out of the pile, looking at the bumped duck. It was honestly quite pitiful. How much did the kitten wish it was the one being cuddled? Now the kitten seemed so peaceful. It looked so sweet and adorable. But once it wakes up, who knows, it might turn mischievous and start play fighting with the little ducks again. So at this moment, the little ducks truly cherished the peaceful time with the sleeping kitten. One of the little ducks even snuggled right up against the kitten's side, because its soft fur was just too comfortable.